for after, oh geez, how long? Almost 3 years, I'm finally going to do the 500 plus round review. Try to get out of the shade here so show as much of the rifle as possible. It will be the 509 round review of the Norinco M14 m305S. There's the S, there's the B, and there's the m305. What's the difference? I think the S is for synthetic stock, B is for brown, and that's the wood stock one, and the, I don't know, I guess that's just generic term of m305. There's also another variant with a camel pattern. It's kind of rare, but you can get it. This is the full-sized battle rifle. This has the 22-inch barrel. There is also an 18.6-inch barrel or 18.5-inch barrel variant known as the Norinco M14 m305 Shorty. And yeah, there's a few variants you can get. So this rifle here, I've got 509 shots out of it. The reason why I wait so long to do a review on anything, I do lots of overviews. The reviews, I really want to give you my honest impression of how the thing works, you know, accuracy, reliability, all that stuff. Is it a perfect rifle? No, it's not a perfect rifle, but it's pretty darn good. I'll tell you my experience with it, kind of going back in time here. Starting with when I first bought it. I bought this thing, it came pretty much as you see, except for it had the 5-round magazine instead of the 20-rounder that you see in it, which is pinned to 5 rounds for Canadian gun laws. Usually when people watch from somewhere else, no, you're allowed this many. No, gun laws are different everywhere. So here in Canada, yes, that is a 20-round magazine, but it has a pin in it for 5 rounds, which is kind of stupid. But you know, it was supposed to, when you put the pin in it, it was supposed to, you know, people were supposed to, there were supposed to be more survivors during mass shootings. It was the idea. The pin was put into it because our semi-autos went from 10 rounds, which at one point they were unlimited many moons back. Trudeau got into powder, put it into 10 rounds max. Polytechnique happened, they put into where 14 women were killed, and then they put it down to 5 rounds max. So the next is 3, then 1, then ban, right? So yes, if you're an American watching this, don't give them an inch on your gun laws. There is no such thing as reasonable gun laws. Now that said, since we went down to 5 rounds, we had the Polytech shooting, and 23 people were shot there, so it didn't really make that much difference, even if, you know. So anyway, not to digress too much onto that, let's get back to the rifle. 509 rounds. Let's talk about round 1. The first round I put into this, it extracted perfectly, fired perfectly. The second round jammed. Yeah, you heard me right. Or did it jam? No, it didn't. Actually, there was nothing in the chamber on the second round. If I go way back in my videos, what ended up happening is I tried to be sneaky. I put 5 rounds in the magazine, 1 in the chamber, and to see if I could squeeze 6 rounds in there. And what ended up happening is it fired the first round, extracted it perfectly, but when it went to strip off the second round, it actually pushed the magazine out of the mag well. So technically, we'll call that jam number 1. Okay? And user error. Okay? Now, I don't know how many rounds I fired between that and the next round. Jam number 2 was, I don't know, maybe 50 rounds later, and that was, guess what happened? Yeah, I did the same thing. I had the bolt closed, jammed the magazine in, then chambered around, fired the first shot, and then, oh, hey, it popped out the second round. This is not a design flaw. This is just, what I learned is you really got to make, especially when things are new, you really got to make sure that magazine is clipped in there. So that was jam number 2. I don't know, maybe 100 rounds later, I had a misfire, a real misfire, where I had a 168 grain. It's on almost every shot I fired out of this is on video. So a 168 grainer, I fired it, it went click, it did not go bang. I had a faulty primer, it just did not go bang. So I waited a couple of minutes, and I had to open the thing with a 2x4. It jammed. I took the mag out, you know, I just could not get that chamber open. I mean, they don't jam often, but when these things jam, you got to kick them open. My other trick I'm going to try, but I got to wait till it jams again, is grab the trigger guard and pull it out, remove the trigger group, see if it unjams it that way. So I put the round back in, fired it again in a single shot kind of mode, and it fired okay. So that was 3 jams. Wow. And then, I don't know, maybe a couple of 100 rounds later, I put a scope on it, and the scope mount bracket, which I'll show you fairly soon, hung up the bolt, I guess, and it jammed. It fired the shot, chambered the next round, fired the shot, but then the bolt didn't extract the round. It seemed like the screw was in too far, and it kind of hung up the bolt, I guess. So you got to watch out for that. Not a design flaw, just something to watch for. So that was jam number 4. Or I guess failure to feed jam number 4. And this happened, so we'll say 3 out of my 4 jams were user error. And then I had 3 technical misfeeds out of 509 rounds. So that's, if you're sitting, oh, that's not reliable enough. Shut up. Yeah. So that said, ever since I realized user error problems, I've never had that problem. That said, let's go back to fire the first shot again. First shot, I got this rifle. Instantly I noticed that the safety was really tight on this, and I was so nervous because I couldn't get it to click in. I figured out a few things since then, which I'll get to as I get to. But that was my first kind of, should I have bought a Chinese-made rifle? So that I just could not click in this thing whatsoever. It wasn't going to do it. Like, it's not doing it now. And you want to, and there's a little trick that, and you'll find out in a few minutes why it won't do it now. So as I use it, that safety actually works fine. It's not the most comfy safety. You can't just pull it easily. You can't accidentally knock that safety off. You can't. It's a pretty stiff safety. It's not that stiff to the point where you can't do it. Like, okay, I know this is not convincing you, but I figured something out about that. So there's the quick is if you dry fire it, you can't re-engage the safety, because of, if you pull out the trigger group where the safety engages, the thing has to be actually in battery. It has to be ready for, the firing pin has to be in the firing position. It has to be pulled back, or else you can't put off the safety. And when I bought it, that was the first thing, and I didn't know that. Now I know that. So if you ever get a Springfield or an M14, it's not a design flaw. It's just the trigger group, the way it is, you can't actually engage that safety. I'll show you what I mean. Well, no, I won't, because I haven't checked this yet. I haven't safety checked this. So I'm going to safety check it right now, actually. Oh, look at that! Something came out. It's okay. Snap cap. Now, what I'm going to do is just put that snap cap in there. I always have a snap cap in there. I do that just so people that are seeing my what you call it? See how easy that went? Well, it's not really easy, but you see it went. But I couldn't do it before. Now watch. Oop. See, that's what I was talking about with the trigger group. So when the firing pin's fired, you cannot put on the safety. Just something that you need to know. So when I thought I had a malfunction, it was just, again, a user error thing. I can imagine the Springfields are the same, because this is what it's designed off of. Now, other things is this thing came dunked in Cosmoline like you would not believe. Sorry, my ADD got the best of me. The reason why you saw that round fly out of there is I don't like to leave tension on any of the springs or anything. Semi-autos always store them closed, with the bolts closed, so you're not compressing the spring. And if you can release the trigger, the springs on the trigger group, the stuff lasts longer. That's why I got the snap cap in there. But I also, again, leave it in there so when I, oh, look at this, there's something in, ACS improves is our Canadian acronyms for safety. When I do that, it's like, oh, people aren't expecting something to fly out. So if it's your first time watching one of my videos, it's like almost every time you see me pick this thing up and clear it, you'll see something fly out. But that could have been a real round. You know what I mean? That's why, obviously, I knew what's in there before. I check it anyway. I'll pick this up before I'm done the video, and I'll check it again, and I'll check it again, and I'll check it again. Safety's a habit, okay? Even my dog agrees. She's in like all my videos. So anyway, yeah. So what I thought was a poor quality control. Now I got to say though, the safety is stiff. The more you use it, the smoother it becomes. You got to understand a lot of the parts on this are, just cut. The Chinese chiseled it out, made it work. They didn't make it pretty. So I can't say there's any real burring or anything on there. I mean, it's not that bad, like quality control. I mean, it's not bad at all. I can't say there was anywhere where there was like extreme burrs on this thing, anywhere. I mean, it's a little bit rough, but it's not bad, So anyway, so out of 509 rounds, we'll say 7 malfunctions, 3 feed malfunctions, and 4 actual jams. 3 of which are pretty much user error. Now, again, a training issue. Now that you know that, there's nothing, you know, you won't do it again, you know what I mean? Now here's something, let's go back to the first round again. 509 rounds ago, almost 2 years ago. So I buy this thing, it comes from Frontier Firearms, 460 some odd dollars, 90 some odd cents. Shipping, everything you see there minus the 20 rounder. It had the 5 rounder. I bought those later, which are NC Star magazines, which are also, I think, a spin-off company of Norinco. Haven't had any real complaints about those rounds. So I buy it. The thing's gunked with cosmoline. I cleaned it out the best I can. You could have a rifle clean it completely spotless. 10 years later, you find a little leak of cosmoline come out somewhere. It just, you can't get it all, but it protects the rifle. So I cleaned it, and I started shooting. And I told myself after my first shooting session, I wonder how many shots I could fire out of this thing till I just cannot shoot it anymore, where it's just too dirty to shoot. She just stole a pail. Where it's too dirty to shoot, where it just will not go bang. Where, you know, will this clog up or whatever. So for the first 100 rounds, I inspected everything. I inspected after pretty much each shot, not each shot, but each shooting session. But I've only field stripped it once. That's it, just once. I don't really think I'm going to field strip it. Probably, I was going to field strip it on the 500 round review, but I don't think I really need to do a full takedown stripping of it because, well, 509 rounds later, it still goes bang, and it's really not that dirty. Now, you're probably saying, how is that possible that it's not that dirty? Well, the chamber's a bit dirty. That needs cleaning. But the bore is a chrome line bore. This is something that you don't get in many rifles under 500. I don't know of any other rifle under $500 in Canada, you know, 308 that has a chrome line bore. You know what I mean? That's something that you just don't get. You know, not even the, you know, the AR-10 is like $1,600 here, minimum. You know, you might get one for around $1,300, but even at that, like that's, you know, the buy-in price for a chrome line bore, and those are restricted. This is a non-restricted, meaning I can hunt with it. I don't have to be stuck to a certified range to use this. The only reason why it's a non-restricted because it doesn't have a pistol grip. Yeah, I know, it sounds stupid. Gun laws in Canada are not made up by people who actually shoot. You know, and yeah. So anyway, it's a heavy rifle. It's about 10.5 pounds. Norinco copied the Springfield Armory, manual, saying it's only 8 or 8.5 pounds. No, it's 10.5 pounds. Now, maybe the action by itself is 8 pounds. I don't know, but it's 10.5 pounds. It's a hefty rifle. It's a big boy rifle. But that 10.5 pounds really does take up an awful amount of recoil. Let's have a look. You also get something else that you don't necessarily get on the Springfield unless you pay extra. Parkerizing. Again, for under $500. Parkerizing is a kind of a vine and a vice. You can see some of the dirt on. I mean, look at how dirty this thing is. You know, it's just dirty. Like, there's sand on it, sand in it. You know, I mean, this thing. I haven't been that nice to it. Like, I mean, I don't beat it up, but as you can see, you know, it's you know, just kind of one of those rifles that. See if I can get a better angle here. So you can see there's your bolt catch, which you can upgrade. That there's for the stock. It's to you know, get it. I don't care about scratches, so I'm not worried about the log here. Your mag release. So there's that little pin I was telling you about. Now, if you look inside, you can see inside the bolt housing. Okay, trying to do this. So to get sun in it without getting so that's what you're looking at for your mag release. You can upgrade these. And it just catches there, and then there's a little knob right in there that catches the front of the magazine. It's kind of hard to see. But as you can see, there, look, see? It's kind of still greasy from the cosmoline. But you can see how dirty that is. I mean, that's a dirty gun. But yet, it still goes bang. Now, you could probably say, hey, I can see light on the other side. Yes, that is purpose. I'm going to put this in. Trick to putting in a M14 magazine, although this might sound obvious, I'm going to cover it all again anyway. Rocket forward. Okay, and then, hang on. So, what you want to do is double click, okay? There's a double click. So, the sights, we'll look at those two, and all that stuff as we go. This is going to be a long review. Oop. Okay, finally, for after, oh geez, how long? Almost 3 years, I'm finally going to do the 500 plus round review. Try to get out of the shade here so show as much of the rifle as possible. it will be the 509 round review of the Norinco M14 m305S. There's the S, there's the B, and there's the m305. What's the difference? I think the S is for synthetic stock, B is for brown, and that's the wood stock one, and the, I don't know, I guess that's just a generic term of m305. There's also another variant with a camo pattern. It's kind of rare, but you can get it. This is the full-sized battle rifle. This has the 22-inch barrel. There is also an 18.6-inch barrel or 18.5-inch barrel variant, known as the Norinco M14 m305 Shorty. And yeah, there's a few variants you can get. So this rifle here, I've got 509 shots out of it. The reason why I wait so long to do a review on anything, I do lots of overviews. The reviews, I really want to give you my honest impression of how the thing works, you know, accuracy, reliability, all that stuff. Is it a perfect rifle? No, it's not a perfect rifle, but it's pretty darn good. I'll tell you my experience with it, kind of going back in time here. Starting with when I first bought it. I bought this thing, it came pretty much as you see, except for it had the 5-round magazine instead of the 20-rounder that you see in it, which is pinned to 5 rounds for Canadian gun laws. Usually when people watch from somewhere else, no, you're allowed this many. No, gun laws are different everywhere. So here in Canada, yes, that is a 20-round magazine, but it has a pin in it for 5 rounds, which is kind of stupid. But you know, it was supposed to, when you put the pin in it, it was supposed to, you know, people were supposed to, there were supposed to be more survivors during mass shootings. It was the idea. The pin was put into it because our semi-autos went from 10 rounds, which at one point they were unlimited many moons back. Trudeau got it to powder, put it into 10 rounds max.